Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 2 of Australia Pro Wrestling. Now, if you want to play TEW 2020, you can find a link for it down in the description below, where you can purchase the game once it is released, which is in about a week's time from when I'm recording this, so not too far away. Super looking forward to it, super excited as well. So make sure you get your hands on a copy down in the description below. Anyways, this is episode 2. Now, the first thing I want to do in episode 2 is actually look for a worker. And that is going to be Damien Dastardly, or Dastardly, depending on how you want to pronounce it. He currently works for Zen, which is a company in Oceania. I did kind of mention them in the previous episode, but they're based in New Zealand, so they're not exactly a direct competitor to us. But this guy is pretty incredible. Probably one of the top young prospects in Australia. As you can see, really good technically, really good brawling, good basics, good psychology, and I mean everything else in his fundamentals is pretty high. He's also really good on the mic, so I see him, as long as he doesn't get stolen by Raw, being a really, really good pickup. I guess we'll just give him 30 per appearance. That seems pretty cheap. Although then again, he has zero popularity in New South Wales. Alright, well, with that said, let's advance into the next TV show. Actually, one thing I do want to do is because, we're losing a lot of money at the moment. I think I want to lower the production values. I think for some reason we have really high production. Whereas I don't think we actually need to, because at the moment we're obviously not competing with Raw, because we're still only a small size company. And I think Zen and DIW both have relatively low production values. So it kind of doesn't really make sense for us to have it as high as I think they are. So let's have a look at that in a second. Okay, let's jump in. Now, it's over here somewhere. Production, there we go. Alright, so let's have a look at the rivals. So they're amateur for production, and they got volunteers for live event. Obviously, we're in green in all those categories, so that means we're actually higher than they are. So let's downgrade. I guess we'll go down to amateur, which is the same as them. And as you can see, it's going to be a lot cheaper. Only $500 per month and a $150 per show as well. And it looks like we're actually 2 categories higher in live event experience. So we'll definitely downgrade once. It's actually costing us money to downgrade. But I think, yeah, look at that. So it goes from $7,500 per show down to $2,500 per show. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. What would be the next one? I guess it wouldn't cost us anything, I would assume. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there. 2,500 is not a massive expense. Broadcast quality, they've got amateur, which I think again is 2 levels below. Yeah, so we'll go down to semi-pro. And that's only going to cost us $500 per show. And then finally, music. They've got, DIW's got small time and Zen has generic. And again, I think we're like 2 sizes above, even 3 sizes above one of them. We'll go down to local. That's only going to be $500 per show. I guess we could go down to generic, which would be the same as Zen. I suppose it's only $250. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it where it is at local. Yeah, so, I mean, that's still actually pretty good. Ooh, there's contract negotiations there with Damien Dastardly. And he's going to come in as a heel wrestler as well. Definitely works better as a heel. Anyway, hopefully that's going to have a bit of a positive effect, because after that first TV show in episode 1, I was kind of a little bit worried about the finances. We paid, what, $60,000 to get our own broadcaster? So I was a little bit worried. We only have about 50,000 left in the bank, so want to make sure that we are sort of solidifying ourselves, at least for the duration of the beta, which is probably how long this series is going to go for. Probably just about a week or so, but I will be doing daily episodes for it. Also, something to mention is I think the beta has actually been extended. So what I can do is record some more Black Canvas Grappling episodes and release them over the course of this next week as well. So looking forward to that. You want to maybe pull a rib on someone? Also, I noticed in the start of episode 1, I called Christopher Gerard Christian Gerard, which I thought was actually pretty funny. But it is Christopher. And I guess let's pull a rib on him. Oopsies, no effect. I do apologize for your ears there. Anyway, let's go into another generic venue. Generic New South Wales. And let's start booking the TV show. Now, of course, in that first episode, we had Samoan Demolition. And they're our tag team champions. I am pretty impressed with them, so I kind of want them to have another match. And I guess Positive Energy can be their next opponent. Positive Energy, I think, are a bit more competitive as opposed to R&R, who they beat last week, or on last week's TV show. Either way, they're going to get another victory here, but we are going to have a subsequent angle coming out of it as well, where they will be challenged for their titles. Not going to be the main event. As far as the main event goes, I think we'll go a singles match. And I think I want to have Lone Shark be involved in the main event. Now, he's a heel, so we are looking for a face. Could go Gerard. Let's have a look at what stars. We've got Dingo Divine. Actually, Dingo kind of makes more sense, because he is currently the #1 contender. So we'll do that match instead. And we'll have Dingo Divine go over. And of course, I think we can call the match. And during the match, I think I also want to have just a distraction. Or maybe at ringside. Yeah, that actually works better. That's kind of a new thing with TEW 2020. You can have your guy come to ringside. And yeah, we're going to bring... I've forgotten his name. Yeah, Scotty Hamstead's going to come down. We might actually have... Yeah, Victor Goliath come down as well. Obviously, they're going to be together, so it kind of does make sense. Manager with his client, who is the Commonwealth champion. And I guess we'll go with one more match, because we do have... The product is kind of more favoured towards angles. I think it's like 60%. And of course, we did learn that last show. Finally, we want to go maybe a triple threat #1 contenders match for Massacre's Australian title. I think that'd be a pretty good match, actually. Does he have a storyline? Not really. He's kind of involved with Gerard. But that's not going to be for the title. And Gerard's going to actually have a match against Reggie Tate, I think, at the pay-per-view coming up. So, yeah, Massacre needs a match. Let's go Alex McQuarrie. I was impressed by him last episode. And then let's go with Richie Fox, maybe? I guess we could put Nighthawk in there. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Nighthawk. Who else do we have? Maybe Suburban Legend. Yeah, let's go Suburban Legend as well, because we were impressed by him on the pre-show. And I think I want to have Suburban Legend get the victory in this one, become the #1 contender for our mid-card Australian title. Alright. Sorry, what did that say? Must select a road agent. Does it really matter? Can we just not have a default road agent go in there? That's kind of strange. And I guess we'll have that go on first as well. Alright, so up next, we want to have a Victor Goliath along with Scotty Hamstead. And I think we'll put them both on entertainment. Because I think Scotty can cut an angle from what I can remember. Yeah, he's relatively good. Hopefully he'll actually be helped out by being in the angles with Victor. Yeah, there we go. So they're going to cut an angle after Dingo Divine's match. We also want... Well, the real question is, who is going to be the #1 contenders? So it's the duo. Donovan Boone and Rusty Mills. Now, can they talk? Okay, so Donovan can talk. What about Rusty? Rusty can actually speak even better on the microphone than him. Perfect. Alright, so let's set that angle up as well. The Donovan Boone, Rusty Mills. And they will cut their angle on Brisbane Devil and King Malietoa. They can both be off screen because it's going to be like a backstage segment. And that's going to come after their match. And then I guess we can start the show off with... Yeah, we'll go Victor again. Victor and Massacre together. And this is, of course, to determine the #1 contender. And basically, Victor Goliath says that Massacre needs someone to beat at the pay-per-view. And he proposes a triple threat #1 contenders match between those three guys there. So that works out pretty well. And I think we'll actually make that the storytelling match as well. Alright, so we're looking pretty good. Let's also do a pre-show match where we want to have... Let's go White Wasp, and he can take on the debuting Damien Dastardly. Just kind of want to see how this match is going to go. I'm just wondering, can White Wasp call a match? Definitely not. Alright, there we go. Let's run the first show. Let me just save. Of course, last episode we had that crash, or in episode 1. Anyway, we start off with a 28 for the pre-show match, where we have Damien Dastardly defeating White Wasp in 9:52 by pinfall with a Dastardly Cunning. Interesting finisher. He debuted his Arrogant Cheat gimmick, and it's got an initial rating of great, so that's pretty perfect. And apparently both these guys have good chemistry together, so might be one for our future. They're both really young. Wasp is only 24. I think Dastardly is 27. Anyway, we then start off the TV show with a 63. Like I said, we have Victor Goliath coming out with Massacre in tow. Massacre doesn't say anything though, and Goliath then proceeds to issue a triple threat match for the #1 contendership for Massacre's Australian title. The match does relatively well, I guess. The 34, where we have Suburban Legend defeating Alex Macquarie and Nighthawk in 9:47, when Suburban Legend pinned Alex Macquarie with a Legend Killer. So we'll get that one booked in as well for the pay-per-view, Ozfest. And it is going to be a singles match, and if it's going to be, where is he, Suburban Legend. And Massacre, there we go. And I think we'll give it 16 minutes as well, but unfortunately, as you'd expect, Massacre going to pick up the victory. Can we call? I think we might be able to. Yeah, I think we definitely can. I might even go 20 minutes for that one. It's kind of a big match. Kind of a big match. And the APW Australian title on the line. There we go. So we've got two title matches booked in. And of course, we are going to have a third booked in from tonight's TV show. We then go into the tag match, which gets a 39. So a little bit better than the last match. And we have Samoan Demolition defeating Positive Energy in 9:53 when Brisbane Devil pinned Casey with a Devil's Drop. Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good match. Good to see Chuck getting a pretty good rating, 31 in-ring performance there. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Of course, we go into the next angle, getting a 46, where we have a backstage interview with the duo, being Donovan and Rusty. And of course, they say that they will be meeting the champions at Ozfest for the tag team titles. So we'll get that one booked in as well. Samoan Demolition taking on the duo. I think that one will just give 16 minutes because, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. I just need to put the tag titles on the line. There we go. All right. So all the title matches are now pre-booked in for the pay-per-view. And then finally, we go into the main event, getting a 45, which is a lot better. But then again, these two are both stars in the company, I think. Actually, Lone Shark might only be well recognizable. I'm not sure. I don't think he's a star, but I know Dingo is. Anyway, we do have Dingo Divine defeating Lone Shark in 16:27 by pinfall with a Southern Lights suplex. And apparently Marcus Rush is not a very good road agent, so we might get rid of him. Either way, pretty happy. 49 in-ring there for Dingo. Happy with that. And then, of course, we got the final angle on the show, getting a 59 once again from Victor Goliath and Scotty Hempstead as well. And, of course, they both then proceed. They were at ringside, and, of course, they proceed to cut an angle after the final match, where Victor Goliath says that there is no way that Scotty Hempstead is going to lose the Commonwealth title while he is, while he's his manager, essentially. So he's going to do everything that he can in his power to make sure Scotty retains his title at Ozfest. Alright, so we get a 46 for the overall TV show rating for This Is War. And again, as you can see, increasing our popularity in all 6 regions of Oceania. So I have to say I'm pretty happy with that. That is very good. The other thing I'm pretty keen to see is the finances. I'm expecting us to lose a lot less on that show. Apparently Marcus Rush thinks Suburban Legend is money, and we should strap a rocket to the kid. I would agree. It's going to be a part of that Australian title picture for the foreseeable series, I guess. And then we get a 0.02 TV rating for This Is War, which is about 2,400 more viewers than we got on the first episode of TV. So yeah, happy with that. We only lost about 2,000 from that show, which I don't think is really that bad. I'm hoping that the pay-per-view revenue might be able to come in and save us with the much higher attendance. And hopefully there'll be some more broadcast revenue in there as well. Yeah, interesting. From what I can tell, it looks like the production was a fair bit lower, which is exactly what we wanted by reducing the production values earlier in the episode. Anyway, let's advance to our second TV show of the episode. And of course, episode 3 is going to be Ozfest, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I've just noticed that a lot of BCG guys have been popping up on this advanced screen. Of course, I do have a BCG series, which is going to be my long-term series on TEW 2020. And like I said, I can play a few more episodes during the beta now that the extra month has been released. So I'm super happy about that. Get back into the series. I was really enjoying that. So much fun to book. Alrighty. I mean, the Void could be a guy that we try and sign. I think he's pretty old now, though. He does have really good psychology. And he's pretty good on the mic as well. Would be interesting. I mean, the Void versus Massacre would be quite an interesting storyline for that sort of mid-card belt. Either way, like I said, Suburban Legend going to be the first title challenger. Alright, we've got an email. What is it? Really? Really, Zen? They've increased pretty much all of their production values. And now we have penalties. Oh man, that's frustrating. That is really frustrating. Alright, what do we got? We've got to upgrade just production value, which is not too bad, I guess. It's going to cost us an extra $1,000. We actually paid to go down, and now we're having to pay to go straight back up again. That is, that's really frustrating. Anyway, that's Zen for you. Alright, so let's get into the TV show. And we get another runtime error. Lovely. Alright, so as you can see, we did get a runtime error, but luckily there was an autosave feature just before that, so all I had to do was advance one more time and we got back to where we were. Anyway, we do have a backstage incident here, and we do have Brian Rampage and Lanny Williams. And Rampage was brought before Wrestlers Court, and yeah, he's received a small positive impact as a result of that incident, so I'm happy with that. That's kind of a positive, I guess. We're also expecting a lot more fans to this show. 386. Which is interesting because I think the last one was like 280. That's an extra 100 fans, yeah. 283 people. That's definitely going to help out our finances. And this is actually the go-home show as well. So, with that said, I think we want to go with a pretty big main event. And what we're going to go with is... I think what I want to do. Just trying to convince myself to actually do it. Alright, so Reggie Tate is going to be teaming up with Scotty Hempstead. Of course, they are a part of Goliath Global. Is it Goliath Global? Yes, it is Goliath Global. Had a bit of a brain fart there, but I was correct. Anyway, and they're going to be taking on Christopher Gerard. And I think we'll go Dingo Divine. So I have to say, that's a pretty big main event. And what's going to happen in this one is we're going to have Dingo Divine get the pinfall victory onto Reggie Tate. And the face team is going to pick up the victory. Just need to double check if Reggie... Yeah, Reggie cannot call a match. Okay. So let's change that. Script it. Perfect. All right. Up next, we want a match for Yeah, for the duo. Because I think they need to pick up a victory. They haven't even been in a match yet on the series so far. And I think they might take on... Let's have a look at the heel teams that we have, actually. Do we go with the Apocalypse, or do we go with Wilkes and Lydecker? I think Wilkes and Lydecker. And I think the match will finish... No. Okay, so what's going to happen is Rusty Mills... Well, they're gonna pick up the victory, the duo. But what's going to happen is... It's going to be a cheap win. And both members of Samoan Demolition are going to come in and attack both members of the duo. And that's going to lead to a DQ finish. Let's go with outside interference finish. I guess we'll just do Rusty. And Brisbane. Yeah, there we go. Alright, hopefully that'll work the way that I want it to work. It looks like it will. So that one's there. And I guess we need one more match. Do we want a massacre match? I think that might be the way we want to go. So let's have Massacre, and I guess he can take on kind of someone lower down the card. Let's go with Lothar Prelinger. And of course, it's going to be a non-title match as well, seeing as he does have his match for the pay-per-view. I think we'll put that one there. Kind of makes a little bit more sense together. Does it? Maybe not. Then on the pre-show, let's go with a tag team match, and I think we want to have... Let's try and use someone we haven't really used. Let's go Harry Simonson, kind of one of the old guard for APW. And he can team up with... I guess Brian Rampage, only a 20-year-old. Probably needs a bit of help. And I guess they can take on maybe the Apocalypse. I think that's a pretty good pre-show match. Kind of old with young, and then a pretty established tag team there as well. And we are going to give the established heel tag team the victory as well. As I think that just kind of works. Alright, now we're going to book our angles. So, what I want to do is we want to have... Yeah, I think we want to... Let's go Brisbane Devil, King Malietoa. Both on Menace. And their menacing angle is going to be on Donovan and Rusty. But they're both going to be off camera. It's going to be prior to their match. And then, of course, we kind of know what happens during the match. Yeah, so that's perfect. We then want a... Can Massacre talk by himself? Because that'd be pretty interesting. He can. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to have Massacre. And he's going to issue an open challenge to anyone on the roster, basically just for a bit of a warm-up match for him prior to the prior to the pay-per-view. I think Lothar Prellinger is a heel. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he's a heel. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. The way we could explain it is Lothar wants to try and impress and potentially get himself a title shot in the future. That kind of works. And then I think to end off the show, we're going to have Victor Goliath along with Scotty and Reggie. I'm not sure if Reggie can actually do anything on the mic, but I suppose he can be in an angle. That's fine. Actually, we might take Reggie out of the angle because we don't want to use him too much. Alright, there we go. Oh. Yeah, I think that's probably better. Still probably using him a bit too much. I know Lothar's being used too much. Well, again, we don't exactly need him in the angle either. Alright, there we go. It still kind of makes sense. We also need the storytelling match, which we can make this one. Has quite a bit of story to it. And we are done. Alright, perfect. Let's run the final show of the episode. Starting off with a 37. We have the Apocalypse defeating Harry Simonson and Brian Rampage. 9:37, when Hate Monger pinned Brian Rampage with an Apocalypse Nowish. Unfortunately, Warmonger has sustained a strained rotator cuff. So, yeah, I guess the Apocalypse aren't going to be really doing too much. Not that they would be anyway, because we do currently have heel tag team champions, so they would kind of only be featured in maybe these pre-show matches. 37's not too bad for a pre-show. And it was Brian Rampage with a botch. I mean, you kind of expected, he's only young. Anyway, we start the show off with a 44 for Samoan Demolition. And of course, they're saying, well, they're showing their menace, but they're also saying that they're going to absolutely destroy the duo. They don't say when, they just say they're going to do it. We then go into the duo's match. It's a 41, and we have the duo defeating Wilkes and Lidecker in 10:29. And Whirlwind Lee Wilkes, that wasn't really the finish I wanted, was counted out while fighting Rusty Mills. During the match, we also had King Malietoa run in and attack Boone. Yeah, that really didn't book out the way I wanted it to. Anyway, doesn't really matter. You kind of know what happened. Both members of Samoan Demolition ran in and attacked the duo. That was the reason for the disqualification. Alright, moving on. We have Massacre's angle, where of course he issues a bit of an open challenge, non-title match of course, but he basically wants someone to step up and, face him as a bit of a warm-up match. And the match does relatively well, almost getting a 40, just getting under with a 39. And of course we have Massacre defeating Lothar Prellinger in 10:29 by pinfall with a Black Descent. Not a bad match. I'm guessing that he is a heel, so it probably got penalized very slightly. We then go straight into the main event, which gets a 44. Once again, Marcus Rush. I've got to get rid of him. Anyway, we have a 44 for the main event. Christopher Gerard and Dingo Divine defeating Scotty Hampstead and Reggie Tate in 16:04 when Dingo Divine pinned Reggie Tate with a Southern Lights suplex. And of course, as you'd expect, Reggie Tate being the weak link. And apparently Scotty Hampstead and Reggie have zero chemistry together as partners. So we probably won't be using them as a team anymore in the future, but that's fine. And of course, we have one more angle. We get a 55 for Victor Goliath and Scotty Hampstead. And of course, like I said, Scotty Doesn't really do much talking here. Basically just Victor saying that he's going to do everything in his power as, as Scotty's manager to make sure he walks away with the Commonwealth title. All right, let's finish the show. Once again, we get a 44, increasing our popularity in 6 regions in Oceania, which is great. And I think we'll go and check the popularity out as well. I'm kind of interested to see if we've actually, increased after only 3 shows. I'm hoping we have. And it looks like we haven't. Okay. Still at a 0 for Western Australia, Tasmania, and New Zealand. We track the progress. I mean, we are technically actually up. We're down 1 point in New South Wales, which is understandable for that first show. But we're actually up to 18 for Queensland and 18 for Victoria as well. And then, yeah, we're also up 1 point as well for South Australia. So that's really not too bad. It's pretty good, actually. Because as you can see, we do need a 35 in either Queensland or Victoria. But we do also need a 59 for New South Wales, which is going to be a bit of a grind. Anyway, that's looking pretty good. The finances, on the other hand, really not looking too good. That's going to probably be the struggle for this, small series we're doing here in the beta. But yeah, that's going to be the end of episode 2, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel with the notifications turned on. And apart from that, as always, take it easy and goodbye.